welcome back to Audiotree Live. It is September 1st, 2023. And again, I am your host, FINGY. Before we get into the show, I do urge you to subscribe to our channel. It definitely helps with the algorithm gods. So if we could receive your blessing today, I'd appreciate that. Also, anything that you hear going on in the stew, by the time it's on YouTube, it's on every streaming service, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, you name it, we're there. Let's hang out. But without further ado, it's a lucky day for me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm super stoked to introduce someone I've been listening to for a while and have a massive amount of respect for. The SoundCloud dubbed father of New York City garage. We have Swami Sound. Take it away.
From back in the day. 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 in the day. From back in the day.
Respect. What's up, sir? I know we gotta do a little headphone exchange so you can get the full ASMR content of
Hey.
my scintillating voice. Hey, how you feeling, my guy?
Yo, Chicago, what up?
Hey. Dude, I'm so stoked to have you here. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I've been tapped in, dare I say, a couple of months, maybe half a year, maybe a year if we're pushing it.
It may be longer. You're free to say so.
Hey, whatever you like it, I love it. But no, I've been super tapped in for a while. I love what you're doing, and selfishly, pretty stoked to see an Ableton rig set up right now.
Yeah.
For the gearheads at home, can we get a little tour of what's going on?
Word. So I just got a new laptop recently. For the last couple of years I've been working on my college laptop and I upgraded pretty recently. Got that like M1 Max MacBook Pro. Perfect for what I do. And I also the Ableton Push 3 had come out recently, but it was out of stock for a little bit. But then when it came back in stock, I got it for the intents and purposes of switching it up. Honestly, before I started DJing, actually, my original performance style was with the Ableton Push 2, and I used to produce on the Ableton Push 1. So coming back around now that like I have enough material to perform and trying to like challenge myself a little bit more.
Yeah.
I've got this going on, and going into the Ableton Push 3 is my Poly and Tracker. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this because I remember when I got it, I thought that it was gonna be like my Push 3, you know. But I got this long before the Push 3 came out. I was trying to transition into being a little bit more of a gearhead, but that was like during the pandemic and stuff, and it just didn't happen. But now that I've got the Push, I found like a way to actually apply the tracker into my workflow, my live workflow, and I'm looking forward to having more fun with it. I've got them linked together through MIDI because the Push is like pretty much a powerhouse, so like it does exactly what you need it to. And the coolest thing about the Push, I'm like advertising this thing right
I'm
now,
not gonna.
but it's standalone as well. But for the intents and purposes of right now, just for like my vocal processing, like I've got everything coming out of my computer. So yeah, like that's pretty much it. And then I got my Apollo, of course, staple. And got my like microphone and things like that. And the Push is kind of operating Ableton the way it normally would.
Hell yeah. And you got all the UAD plugins on deck, I assume.
I got a system, yeah.
Hey, I love it. I love it. No, but it's cool and refreshing because, way back when Garage and UKG were getting started, it was a lot more analog heavy, and I was very intrigued to see like if you were more digitized or more analog based. So it's nice to see it evolve, and you're doing a lot of that right now. You know, this coined term, this New York City garage, specifically pronunciation on the garage. It's acknowledging the transatlantic musical exchange from Paradise Garage, all the vibes, all the way to UKG two-step. So being that you are from New York, are born in a time post the inception of said genre, and are now in an era where you have all these resources in front of you, and you have the decision to decide how to evolve this genre. What is that decision-making process? What has led you to this rig? What has led you to choose said controllers, interfaces that you decide?
Honestly, at the heart of it is authenticity, like what I'm trying to do for like myself as a producer, and my journey sort of going through garage and figuring it out, like what it means to me and how it pertains to my production style. It just was it was meant to be like that way. I feel like to sort of to talk about the gear and like how like it really arrived here. If you think about sampling in a way, all of it really lies at the heart of sampling. And in this digital age, I think like this is just the perfect way to do it. And I'm looking forward to like getting more into it, because right now I am just playing clips like that I've arranged and stuff with my musical director, Owsiany. But what the intention is to sort of like show like how we've evolved like as musicians, as samplers, as producers and stuff, like how we can have simple things rather than like an MPC, like, and like playing live drums. Like I'm not a live drummer yet, but I hope to be there. But yeah, this is kind of like the easiest way for me to like really like get the voice out there, as opposed to like DJing as well. I mean, DJing is really popular now. And
Yeah.
well, I mean, I guess it's always been, but
No, I mean, I was just talking to Ellie, and I was like, dude, I got my SB3 for like 250 with Serato. Now
Yeah.
it's like 600 and
Really?
has like less. Yeah, or maybe 4.
That's
but
crazy.
yeah, no, it's like, it's the thing to do now.
yeah, it's a thing to do. And I think what like kind of led me to doing this kind of performance is like turntablism. For me, it doesn't really feel as special as like really me like diving into my own production this way. Like, cause I could play my songs out, you know, at a club or something like that, but I'm not really making music that you can easily dance to. Like as you can hear in those last couple of songs, they're like emotionally charged and they're like a lot more chill, but like they still sort of lie in that tempo. So this way I can approach my music in a way that I'm like, damn, I'm really like, you know, turning the club down, or like, you know, I'm not really trying to push the whole like crying on the dance floor agenda this way. Like I could really like entrance you or like pull you into this experience. And yeah, so like I wouldn't really. There was a long time where I wasn't able to play Refuse personally, like at a show or something, because I was like, damn, this is like a really like it's sad, like for me personally, but people love this song, and it took me a while to realize how much people like this song, but. Now I could play Refuse out because I know people are gonna enjoy it. Yeah. But I think at first I was like, this is kind of a downer for me. Like I can't personally as a DJ turn up to this. So like I'd rather play like Teardrops or something, or any of my like comfort songs while I'm spinning, so I can like jump around, I'm like with it, and then like the crowd gets it. But if I'm playing something that's sad for me personally, I'm like, damn, because I start thinking about it, and like, you know, at the heart of it, as a DJ, I'm still an artist first, and my art is my message, and those are pretty much what I do in my songs.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, and it's the eternal struggle of the DJ producer of like, you know, coming to a showcase, spinning tracks that, you know, just catch your ear. And then when you're prompted to spin your own stuff, I know for me personally, whether it's, you know, a melancholic piece and I'm trying to be a little more up,
Right.
just the piece itself, there is that gap of like, personal opinion of skill set versus how far you can go. And I know for myself, when I play tracks that I like from other people and then I throw in my stuff, it's, to me, I'm like, oh, I just brought down the set. But then you hear other people, they're like, no, play.
No, play it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you start hyper analyzing. I mean, I was at a point where I was hyper analyzing it too much, but I've learned more and more that like I shouldn't. And through this way, this performance style is going to give the crowd what they want out of Swami Sound rather than me as a DJ. You know, although like they could get what they want. Like, I mean, I haven't gotten it too many times, but I get it a lot though. That they're like, yo, I mean, I loved when you played your edit here, or like I loved when you played that song. Oh, you didn't play that song like yours. You know, because I fail to find the context sometimes.
Yeah.
So through this, the context lies at the heart of Swami Sound, and I could do it this way without feeling like crazy. And also like me applying my vocals on it, you know, like as I'm working on that, like I could really like put my soul into it, and then you could really like feel like who I am through this art that way.
And do you have a vocal background before you ever started producing music?
I took vocal lessons in college, but I was a part of a handbell choir. That's all. But yeah, I took what I could from those vocal lessons, and I just gotta like reapply that practice and stuff. It's been like pretty busy lately, gigging and like DJing like everywhere.
Yeah.
I've done so many gigs, so it's a little hard to just sit down, bunker down, and practice. So this last like week and a half, 2 weeks, I'm kind of like I had to like figure out how this thing works, and then figure out how this thing works with that thing. And just yesterday, I decided that I was going to use my computer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out like all the timing of it and like making sure that everything works the way
Yeah.
that like I want it to.
And keeping up with yourself.
Yeah.
And that also raises a really interesting question. As a DJ and producer, how do you try, if you try, to strike a balance between keeping up your production chops versus keeping up your DJ chops? Because when you're, spinning across the country,
Yeah.
it's, I imagine, hard to do so.
There isn't even that much practice.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's hard. And then sometimes I'll feel like, damn, like I'm not really doing my best right now because I don't know. Like, I thought of it lately because I just played at the Lot 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't even have that much time to like really sit down and ask myself what I wanted out of that vibe. I just put together like a whole bunch of songs in my USB that I hadn't really played so often.
Yeah.
I think like a lot of it is improvisation. I see a lot of musical performances much like jazz a little bit. I don't have a jazz background, but the soul and the energy behind it, like you find it all like in the moment. I'm a very momentous person. At the tick of it, like even when I was younger, like when I would take tests and stuff like that I wouldn't study for especially, I think like I would always like get like high marks because I was very committed to just doing my best.
Yeah.
And I'm very oriented into like reaching all like a new peak every time. So this is just like a new peak for me. I may not be the best at it right now, but I'll do my best to like get there.
Yeah. And then once you get to be where you want to be, you're already past where you were before. So
Yeah.
it's a climb, but it's a beautiful climb, and it's sourced from passion and acknowledging the strong history that has built this art form.
Yeah.
And what we were talking about earlier, like how people, DJing's a thing now, everyone's starting to spin, and
Yeah.
I love that people are actively playing music and experimenting with sound. But I also really admire that as you're really a prominent newer face in this community,
Yeah.
you are extremely vocal about the significance and the differentiation of the genres that you're blending.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that you actually take the time to understand why it's so powerful, but also you intuitively feel that power,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So like I just played a Baila Funk version of Back in the Day, which is like has not been heard before, like, but at the heart of it, like those BPMs are right there. And as a DJ, like that's why I'm approaching it this way, is that I'm mixing these genres in a way that, okay, word, like, and then you hear the transition between Back in the Day and then Refuse. Because like Refuse, like I like produced that with Jediak, who's from Brazil. So it's like I'm kind of like pointing at it in such a like, look at that, like it's like they're all connected. There's a big connectivity that I want to raise attention to, like within like all these musical styles, so people could think a little bit more about the music. And if they don't want to, it doesn't really matter to me. But like, I also don't really care that much. It's not that I don't care, but it's it should be fun. But I think kind of like learning about the interconnectivity is like the most fun part about it, and like what helps me be like the DJ that I am.
Yeah. And who are some of the influences, whether it's musical or even personal, environmental, in your life that drive you to pursue this?
Like music in general?
Yeah, music in general, and just creating music, mixing music. What do you source that from? Anything or anyone else?
I think there are like too many people to even like answer that question. But my community, the people that I watch, like the people that I play with, my family, and the greats that I listen to. I think for the most part, I can name a name. Like MJ Cole is like very like integral to sort of how I approach my music. I've always sort of been a little dramatic about everything, but I really don't mean to be, but I think in the songwriting, like I definitely try to bring out the beauty of it, like with the string section or things like that. I really approach my music very musically.
Yeah.
And I don't really consider myself that much of a musical person. Like I was taught bass, and do I consider myself much of a bassist? Kind of, but not really. I used to be a lot better at piano, but now that I've just been DJing a lot, I don't really touch the piano too often. But at the heart of it, like I'm still there. Like I do recognize like my music. I know like how to differentiate between the keys that I'm playing and stuff, but I try not to be too nerdy about it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You strike a balance between, theory and
Yeah, like the theory of it for sure. I mean, you got to know the fundamentals. You got to know the rules before you break them.
break 'em.
So, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, back in the day, album drop, debut. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Station, by
Thanks
the
so
way.
much.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to be like a marketing bitch, but dude, like the visual branding was so raw.
Yeah.
It was elegant. I loved the diamond situation. But above, honestly, everything else, the level of nostalgia that was playing into it, like
Yeah.
PictoChat, CD, iPods,
Yeah.
all of this, something that's so universal to our generation, was packaged and delivered in such a tasteful way.
Yeah.
So hats off to you.
Thank you.
But I was wondering how that came about, because it's also partnered with, photos of you sitting in front of like synths and drum machines, and this
Yeah.
kind of duality was really interesting to me, and I want to know more
Yeah.
about it.
Like the cover arts and
Yeah.
stuff, or like the packaging of the album. It wasn't really that deliberate.
No?
Like there was no. I didn't sit down one day a couple years ago. I was like, this is gonna be the whole zeitgeist of back in the day. No, like it was. A lot of it like lies a bit in irony, like the specific color iPod that I had. There were a lot of coincidences, especially too. Like if you look at the cover art of the album in general, it's like that black and teal. Like I'm wearing a black and teal, like a race jacket by Nash.
Hey.
And that, like, I had done the cover art first. Like the cover art was done before the album like was even started.
Damn.
And but then like somehow like I realized that then iPod that I had when I was a kid, like 13, that I got like robbed for, like it was like that teal iPod, that specific teal iPod Nano, like, and so like I connected it together like through that. I was like, okay, word, like the album is a sort of look-see into like my memory. It's like for me to sort of like think about like just things that I may have forgotten throughout time. So I'm pretty much guiding through the visuals. I'm like guiding myself through like what I remember. But then like the fashion behind it, like the elegance, is like you're just seeing like how I see it, like how I remember things, and how I like want to be remembered in a way. The CDs, very nostalgic like form of. It's a nostalgic art form to say the least, and it's a good way to consume music and like own music. As we sort of like debate about the nature of streaming, and then all these like a lot of people trying to intertwine like music with cryptocurrency and stuff like that. But like the easiest way to sort of feel some kind of ownership of art and digital art, especially, is just like having a CD, having an MP3, having an iPod. So like the CDs and the iPods go together because the iPod preceded the CD. So. If you have my CD, you burn it, and then you put those MP3s on your iPod, you're right there. You kind of own the music in a way.
Yeah.
And then what's after that? It's the CD, the iPod, and then the PictoChat.
Yeah, I don't know if that was with the album or if that was like just promoting a show.
That was just a swag.
Bro.
That was just,
so
it was
smart.
like the whole PictoChat thing. I'm born in 1997, like the Nintendo DS, the GameCube, all those kinds of things. I like the nostalgia of it is like the cool part, like that's like what you could call it. But for me, like I'm not really like sitting around and thinking, okay, how can I like make things nostalgic? But more so like I'm thinking that this is just like a cool thing that I remember. And I think like I definitely do like dabble in a lot of nostalgia, but like it's not like my like personality trait, So I think I was on my phone and I was like, I want to like emulate a Nintendo DS game, like because I used to do that a lot. Like I had maybe like 4 Nintendo DSs.
Oh, wow.
And I lost all of them.
No.
Like I don't have anything that I grew up with. I literally don't. The iPod that I have that you see in all the photos, like I just bought it off of eBay a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
But it's just like something that I used to own. And that goes the same for the Nintendo DS. I wasn't gonna go and buy like a new DS because then it might have just been broken or something like that. It's mad old. So I just emulated it on my iPhone. And then I was like, okay, like I get the BIOS in here. And I'm like pretty savvy about just like how things work. So I'm like, all right, let me get the Nintendo DS BIOS into my phone, and then if I could get into the BIOS, then I could get into PictoChat. And if I get into PictoChat, I can screen record me typing out a flyer. I could get this message across in a way. I don't want to pay somebody for a flyer right now, so I'm gonna make a PictoChat flyer. That's it. It's like out of necessity, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just like kind of digging into my head about, all right, what's the best way I could do this by myself? And the PictoChat just came across very well, and then you kind of just say, all right, let's group this into like all of my rollout.
Yeah.
So it's just like, as I'm saying, it's like all on the fly. It's like, and if I remember something like maybe tomorrow, then I'll just like loop that in with everything else. You know what I mean?
And that's a really affirming thing to hear, because I know a lot of artists get caught up in the conception of it so much so that it halts them from actually distributing and releasing and expressing how they feel to the world, because they're too caught up on how to put it out.
Yeah, like I'm a victim of that as well. Like I was writing back in the day for 6 years, and it wasn't even back in the day until it was back in the day. The song Back in the Day wasn't even back in the day until I rearranged the whole song. Like, if you sort of like look at the song, it's just like me copying that from back in the day, like that part throughout the rest of the song. Like that was just meant to be a verse. But I was like, before I put out the song, maybe it was like 5 weeks before, a friend was like, this needs a chorus. Like, it doesn't have a chorus. I'm like, oh. And I didn't want to sit down and like rewrite it or anything like that, but I had all the vocal arrangements, and then I just kind of like rearranged it that way.
Beautiful.
And then then you have the album title.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Simple.
And then you sort of explain everything after the fact. Yeah. You sort of retroactively sort of give everything a purpose.
Reverse engineer the concept.
Exactly.
I like it. Well, now that we're back, we're warm. Let's do a couple more.
But you put salt in my mouth, it don't feel good. If we behave like we've always known, then where's the space if I'm wrong? If that's the way it should always go, we'll run it back like our favorite song. If we behave based on all we know,
Sir Swami Sound, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. Thank you to our crew for getting this done. We cannot do it without you. And thank you guys for watching. I hope it was as pleasurable for you as it was for me. Remember that what you hear right now, by the time you're listening, it's already on all streaming services. So after you run back in the day, run this, get the little exclusive Baile Funk versions, because it's kind of hot shit, I'm not going to lie.
For sure.
But yeah, please subscribe if you can. That'd be really cool. And we'll see you next time. My name is FINGY. Peace.
Thank you.
All right, so you guys want to do it for real now?